Most men won't hear this truth until it's too late. But here it is. You are the prize. That single statement already triggered some of you. And that is the core of the problem. You've been mentally conditioned to believe your value is something you must earn from the outside. To chase, to perform, to prove your worth, just to win the approval of a woman who often brings nothing to the table but her own sense of entitlement. Somewhere along the way, the script was flipped. And now, even strong men find themselves walking on eggshells, afraid to lead in their own lives. I'm here to tell you why that's not just wrong. It's a betrayal of your own nature. See, here's the truth society won't tell you. A woman needs a man's stability far more than a man needs her validation. Not because you're better than her. Not because she's weak, but because in the real dynamics of attraction, value isn't just about beauty. It's about your internal frame, your purpose, your power. And you hold far more of it than you've been led to believe. Think about it. When you are calm, focused, building your life according to your own purpose, investing in your mission, your finances, your health, who is more in demand? A man who is emotionally in control. A man whose peace isn't for sale, that man is rare. And he is wanted. But modern men have been disarmed. Not by force, but by ideas. The idea that your masculinity is toxic. The idea that your leadership is oppressive. So you've been taught to trade your crown for her approval. You've become a servant instead of a standard. A performer instead of a leader. Here at Stoic Manhood Guide, we are flipping that script. This isn't about bashing women. This is about waking men up from the lie that love requires you to lose yourself. A Stoic knows that real connection requires two strong individuals. And if one is needy, reactive, and unsure, it will always be you who suffers. So today, we are going to unpack the psychology of real power. How men unknowingly give it away, how women instinctively respond to it, and how you can reclaim it without being toxic, manipulative, or cold. Because again, you are the prize. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. So let's begin. Let's rebuild that internal frame one principle at a time. Principle number 1, stop chasing. Start choosing. Let's get one thing straight. Chasing is not masculine. Choosing is. And if you want to shift the power dynamic in every interaction you have, you need to stop acting like a hunter desperate for any prey, and start operating like a king selecting his queen. This is the first and most fundamental error most men make. They are conditioned from a young age to believe they must constantly win a woman's approval. They're told to impress, to flatter, to go the extra mile, to compete for her attention like she is a trophy on a pedestal. So, what happens? They grow into men who believe that unless they are actively chasing, they are losing. But here is the truth from a Stoic perspective. Chasing places your peace of mind in something you do not control, her validation. It is an act of outsourcing your self-worth. When you chase, you are communicating one thing, loud and clear. Your value is higher than mine. I need you to feel complete. That energy might look romantic in movies scripted to sell you a fantasy. But in real life, it is the fastest way to kill attraction and invite disrespect. Why? Because you are positioning yourself as someone hoping to be picked, instead of someone who does the picking. Women feel this energy on a primal level. They know when a man is trying too hard, when his actions are driven by a fear of loss rather than a position of strength. And while they might enjoy the initial flattery, they lose interest just as quickly. You've made it too easy. You've become too available. You have made her the sole decision maker, and in doing so, you have surrendered your own power before the relationship even has a chance to begin. Choosing, on the other hand, is grounded. It is quiet confidence. It is the ability to see beauty, to recognize it, to appreciate it, but not be controlled by it. A man who chooses is evaluating, not chasing. He's not trying to impress her with empty gestures or a flood of compliments. He is observing. He is listening. He is asking himself a series of powerful questions. Does this woman's character align with my values? Does her energy add to my peace? Or subtract from it? Does she fit into the mission I am already on? That energy is magnetic because it is rare. It makes her lean in because for the first time, she is the one being evaluated, not blindly adored. Let's make this real. Imagine two men at a social gathering. The first man sees a beautiful woman and immediately makes her his target. He rushes over, buys her a drink, laughs too loudly at her jokes, and agrees with everything she says. He gives her 100% of his attention in the first 5 minutes. She smiles politely, but deep down, her instincts are telling her he's already conquered. The mystery is gone. He is boring. Now the second man walks in, the Stoic. He notices her, but he doesn't rush over. He is grounded in his own world. He's social, calm. He speaks with other men and women, and he genuinely enjoys himself. His happiness is not dependent on her attention. Eventually their eyes meet. When they finally speak, he doesn't flatter her. He asks bold, interesting questions. He looks her in the eye. He maintains his frame, even playfully disagreeing with her at one point. She is intrigued. Not because he tried harder, but because he tried less. He wasn't chasing her. He was choosing whether she was even worth his time and energy. Do you see the difference? The first guy made her the mission. The second guy made her a possible and welcome addition to a mission that already existed. That is the kind of man women respect, admire, and ultimately pursue. The lesson is this: do not throw your crown on the floor just because she is attractive. Your value isn't measured by how many women you can chase. It's measured by your ability to be still, to be focused, to move with intention. When you stop chasing, the right women start choosing you. They see you're not needy. You're not desperate. You are a man who knows what he brings to the table. And that self-contained value is 10 times more attractive than any man trying to buy her time with effort. So, next time you are tempted to over-pursue, pause. Ask yourself, am I chasing out of fear? Or choosing out of strength? Chasing says, I hope she wants me. Choosing says, let's see if she's worthy of me. That one mindset shift will change your entire life. Principle number 2: attention is not love. Let's dismantle a lie that is poisoning the minds of modern men. Just because she gives you attention does not mean she loves you. It doesn't even mean she respects you. Too many good men confuse a small amount of interest with deep, emotional investment. She replies to your texts, laughs at your jokes, maybe even flirts a little, and suddenly, in your mind, you're convinced she's the one. You start building a future with a woman who hasn't even decided if she wants to see you next week. What you're missing is that attention costs nothing. And for some women, attention is simply a resource they collect. It is not a commitment they are making. Here is the uncomfortable truth: a woman will often give you attention just to keep you in her orbit. Not because she wants a future with you, but because she enjoys the validation that comes from knowing you want a future with her. That is not love. That is ego maintenance. And if you don't learn to distinguish between the two, you will spend your life pouring your time, energy, and loyalty into women who are only giving you crumbs in return. You will think you're building a relationship when in reality, you are just a supporting character in her story. Let's make this real. You meet a woman. She's beautiful. She seems interested. The first week is intense. She replies quickly. She compliments you. But then something shifts. She starts pulling away. Her replies get slower. She's always busy or figuring things out. And suddenly, you're stuck in emotional limbo. You're not together, but you feel attached. You keep chasing the high of that early attention, thinking, if I just try a little harder, if I'm just a little more understanding, maybe she'll come back. But she doesn't. Because she was never really there in the first place. She gave you attention, not investment. She gave you emotional sparks, not a commitment. She kept you on the hook while she kept her options open. You became her entertainment, her distraction, her backup plan. And you didn't see it because you made a critical error. You thought her attention meant she valued you. A Stoic learns to tell the difference between an impression and reality. Attention is an impression. Commitment is reality. Commitment is consistent. It shows up when it's not convenient. It invests when it's not exciting. It builds when no one is watching. Attention is intense, then absent. It's hot, then cold. It's a drug that keeps you hooked while draining your resources. So how do you protect your inner peace? It's simple. You must value consistency over intensity. A woman who is merely giving you attention will come on strong and then disappear the moment you stop chasing. But a woman who is genuinely investing in you will keep showing up. Her effort will be steady, not just sweet. She will care when things are difficult, not just when they are fun. You don't need to be paranoid or cold. You just need to be an objective observer of reality. Ask yourself the hard questions. Is her effort consistent or just convenient? Does she value me? Or does she just value the way I make her feel? Is she building with me or just keeping me around? When you stop being available to women who only give you attention, you create the space in your life for a woman who is ready to give you her respect and her loyalty. So the next time a woman seems interested, slow down. Watch what she does when you are not chasing. See if she invests when you are focused on your own mission. Let her show up with more than just pretty words, because a woman who truly values you won't make you guess. Principle number 3, power shifts when you beg. Let's talk about the moment a man's internal frame shatters. It's the moment you start begging. Begging for her attention, her time, her affection, her forgiveness. No man starts a relationship planning to beg. You begin with confidence, with purpose. But somewhere along the line things change. Maybe she pulls away, acts colder, and a sense of panic sets in. And without even realizing it, you start bending. Overcompensating. Chasing to fix a connection that is slipping through your hands. This is where the power shifts. When a man starts begging, he surrenders his emotional sovereignty. He places himself in a needy, reactive position. And you must understand this. In her eyes, neediness is not a sign of love. It is a sign of weakness. She may not say it. She may not even consciously think it. But she feels it. And the more you push from a place of need, the more her respect for you evaporates. Why? Because begging communicates a devastating message. You have something that I cannot live without. My happiness depends on you. That message instantly destroys your value. Now, here's the part that stings. Once she sees that you are willing to beg, she knows she has all the control. She doesn't have to earn your time. She doesn't have to invest emotionally. She doesn't even have to treat you with respect. Because she knows, no matter how she acts, you'll still be there, hoping for more. You hand over your masculinity on a silver platter and ask her to please keep feeding your self-worth. But a Stoic remembers you were a whole man before she came along. You will be a whole man if she leaves. Your worth was never supposed to depend on her response. Begging doesn't look romantic. It looks like desperation. And desperation does not inspire closeness. It inspires contempt. It makes her question why you need her so badly. A man who knows his worth, a man with a strong internal frame, would never beg. He would express himself once. He would set a standard. And if that standard is not met, he would walk away with his dignity. But the man who begs sticks around when he's being ignored. He tries harder when she withdraws. He apologizes for things he didn't even do, just to keep the peace. And in the process, he trains her to never take him seriously. Let that sink in. When you beg, you are no longer respected. You are tolerated. You might still be in her life, but you are no longer leading it. The moment you realize this is the moment you can take your power back. Stop chasing emotional crumbs. Stop trying to prove you're worthy. Stop waiting for someone who isn't giving you what you deserve. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become grounded. It means your emotions are no longer dictated by her behavior. It means your self-esteem is rooted in your purpose, not her validation. The more you beg, the more invisible you become. But the moment you stop, that's when she notices. That's when she wonders why your energy shifted. That's when she starts realizing you are not dependent. You are decisive. Don't wait until your boundaries are shattered. You are not here to beg. You are here to build. Principle number 4, emotional control sparks attraction. Let's be brutally honest. Too many men have become emotionally weak. Not because they don't have feelings, but because they let those feelings control them. And here is a core Stoic truth: a man who cannot control his emotions will always lose in love and in life. This does not mean you should be an emotionless robot. It means you must be the unshakable rock that the waves of emotion crash against. Women are not drawn to men who cry at every setback, rage at every disagreement, or panic at every moment of uncertainty. They are instinctively drawn to men who can feel without falling apart. Men who can hold their center when the world around them is in chaos. That is power. And that power is the purest form of attraction. But today, most men overreact to everything. One unread text sends them into a spiral of anxiety. One cold response makes them start begging for validation. One disagreement turns into a desperate argument to prove they are right. This is not strength. This is emotional immaturity. And a woman feels it instantly. When a man lacks emotional control, she loses trust. She no longer sees a leader she can rely on. She sees a liability she has to manage. You've been lied to. You've been told that expressing every emotion without a filter is being authentic. But there's a world of difference between being real and being reckless. Authenticity is feeling an emotion, processing it with reason, and responding with clarity. Recklessness is reacting without thought, lashing out, sulking, or collapsing under pressure. If you want to be respected, you must stop being ruled by emotional noise. When you can keep your cool while she is testing you, when you can respond with calm silence instead of an insecure outburst, when you can hold your frame even when your emotions are screaming at you to fold, that is when she feels something she can't explain. Respect. Admiration. You become rare. Think about it. If your emotions control you, then she can control you. All she has to do is trigger an emotion, and she can dictate your actions. When she can control you, she will not feel safe with you. She will feel responsible for you. And that is a burden no woman wants. A woman wants to know that if life gets hard, you will not fold. That if she is emotional, you will not mirror her chaos, you will stabilize it. That if she is testing your limits, you will not panic, you will calmly reinforce them. This is not about suppressing your emotions. It is about mastering them. It is about having the inner discipline to pause, think, and act with clarity. And here's a hard truth. If you keep losing your emotional composure over a woman, you haven't built yourself up enough. If you were fully on your path, building your body, your mind, your finances, your purpose, you wouldn't have the time or energy to spiral over every text. So, here is your challenge. Become the man who can hear no without getting angry. The man who can walk away from disrespect without a dramatic scene. The man who can love fully, but never lose himself in that love. Because at the end of the day, the most attractive thing about a man is not his money or his muscles. It is his ability to stay calm when everything else is chaos. Be that man. Principle number 5, she tests you to find a leader. Many men take it personally when a woman challenges them. She gets moody. She questions a decision you made. She pulls back her energy. And instead of standing tall, most men start to crumble. They react emotionally. They chase harder. They become insecure and defensive. But here is what you must understand from a strategic, instinctual level. She is not always testing you to hurt you. She is testing you to find a leader. Women do not consciously plan these tests. It is a subconscious instinctual behavior, wired into their nature. And the reason is simple. She needs to know that you are strong enough to lead. Not just lead her, but to lead yourself. If she is going to give you her time, her trust, and her emotional vulnerability, she needs to feel that you are stable, that you won't fall apart under pressure, that you can protect not just her body, but her peace of mind. So, when she pulls back, when she disagrees, when she challenges you, it's not always disrespect. It is a subconscious question. Can I trust this man's direction? The moment you become reactive, or overly emotional, or try to please your way through the tension, you fail that test. You show her that you can be moved too easily. You show her that she can control you with her moods. You show her that you don't lead, you follow. And when that happens, the attraction begins to fade. Not because she is cruel, but because her instincts are screaming, this man does not have a backbone. So instead of panicking when she challenges you, stand firm. Instead of begging her to stop testing you, rise above it with calm amusement. Show her that your frame is strong, that your values do not shift just to get her validation, that you can love her, desire her, and care for her, but you will still lead. Because at the end of the day, a feminine woman does not want to be in charge of the relationship. She wants to feel your presence, your clarity, your grounded leadership, especially when things get messy. And once she truly feels that, she stops testing, and she stops trusting. And that leads to the most important, and perhaps the most controversial, point of all. If you are a man who wants to reclaim his power, you need to internalize this. Stop acting like she's the prize. You are. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's be absolutely clear. This isn't about ego. It's not about disrespect. It is about restoring balance and rebuilding your internal frame. Too many men have been raised to believe that if they can just win her over, if they can just prove they're good enough, if they can just keep her happy at all costs, they have succeeded. But what they don't realize is that the moment they adopt this mindset, they place themselves below her. And from that position, you cannot lead, you cannot attract, and you cannot build a healthy, balanced relationship. You become the prize when you have built yourself, when you are emotionally strong, when you are driven by purpose, when you move with discipline, when you walk away from disrespect, when you know who you are without needing anyone else to define you. That man is rare, and rare things are valuable. And valuable things don't beg for acceptance, they choose. This video was never meant to bash women, it was meant to wake up men. Because far too many of you are living like you're lucky to even get a woman's time, when in reality, if you stepped into your full potential, she would feel lucky to even be chosen by you. That is the shift we are making here. If this guide resonated with you, if you are ready to stop trading your self-worth for temporary approval, then I ask you to do 3 things. Like this video, so this message can find the men who need to hear it most. Share it with a brother, a friend, who is still playing by the wrong rules and losing himself in the process. And finally, subscribe to Stoic Manhood Guide. Join a community of men who are done with the old script and are dedicated to rebuilding their internal foundation, one principle at a time. Drop your story in the comments. Be real. Let's create a space where we can talk honestly. And remember, stop living like she's the center of your world. Start living like you are the foundation of your own. Because when you move with power, purpose, and peace, you don't chase, you attract.